This week on Cartoon Dumpster Dive, we're covering Duck Dodgers and the Duck Dodgers and the just Duck Dodgers. So, Joel, out of the three of what we're going to call like the Looney Tunes TV series resurgence.
Yeah.
This is the best one.
Oh, hands down.
Hands down the best one.
And
you know what the worst part is? Out of all three of these, only Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries is available on streaming.
I don't get that.
I mean, I don't get it either. Because I get why Taz wasn't. Because it was made for Fox Kid. Whatever.
Yeah.
This one was made by Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network is on Max. So it's just not on there. Why?
It makes no sense. This is hands down. Honestly, I'll go and tell you, this is hands down one of the best Looney Tunes adaptation that they've done ever.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of the it's just a really good series by itself.
I'll fight anybody. This is like, so when you think of Looney Tunes, especially people our age, okay, Space Jam, it's always up there. But that's a movie.
For some reason.
That's a movie.
And it's also bad. It's a bad movie.
This, for TV shows, this is top tier to me. This is
Absolutely.
up there with Space Jam. This is a fantastic show. So I completely agree with you. It's
Space
ridiculous.
Jam is a bad movie?
No, I love Space Jam. How dare you? How dare you say Space Jam is a bad movie, Andrew?
Because it is a bad movie. But let's review that theme song.
Let's hit it.
Frozen in a time and space divide. But how would the universe survive? Dark daughters of the 24th and 1/2 century, protecting the powerless and the weak. Dark daughters, he's fighting tyranny in the 24th and 1/2 century.
I want you to rate this one first.
9.
Yeah.
9.
It's still not a 10.
Dude, I don't know if I'll ever find a 10.
What is missing from that
Oh, okay.
to not make it a 10 to you? Like, I'm legitimately curious. Because I'm giving it a 9 too.
Okay, so I think that's just my innate ability to give things a perfect score.
Yeah, a perfect score.
But
you're like the French in every Olympic movie.
Yes. So, but let me put it like this. There has not been a song since Cowboys of Moo Mesa that I am like, I could listen to this song every day and be happy.
You know, the person who sang this, so I know who sang this. He's still alive. You could technically request for him to sing it. I don't know if he still performs live show. He's 84 years old, so probably not. But
who was it, Andrew?
It's Tom Jones.
Wild.
I mean, I guess I don't know why I think like artists won't do stuff like this, like for whatever reason, if I think you're an outside artist who has albums like, but then I remembered Tom Jones was in Mars Attacks. He did a cameo in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yep.
So it's like if they came up to him and goes, "We want you to sing a Bond style intro for our Daffy Duck cartoon," he'd be like, "Yeah," and I'm sure they compensated him very well. But still, like, it's just the level of professionalism to bring like your absolute 100% A game for a cartoon theme song is just
Incredible.
chef's kiss. Mwah. Perfect.
You, I don't know if you would care about this, but I'm sure some people might. The music was arranged by the Flaming Lips.
Who's that?
They're kind of like a alt rock band with a long history from the 80s. They've had
Okay.
songs on the radio that if you heard it, you would be like, okay, that's it. Like, I know this song. They've been, like, throughout their history, they've had hit singles. So it is crazy that they are pulling out all the punches with this. And there's a reason why this song is so fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Dude.
wish it was on Spotify.
It's
I'd listen to it.
Dude, I completely forgot about this. Like, I remember this show from
Right.
being a kid because it only released in 2003.
Yeah.
Like, I remember watching this and I remember loving the theme song back then. It is fantastic. Very
You big Tom Jones guy? You big?
not really, but I'm a big James Bond guy.
Ah, okay.
So you do a song like James Bond, I'm sold, you know.
Who's your favorite Bond?
I think Daniel Craig did do a good job.
Okay.
But here's the thing. I never picked that game because I didn't grow up with like the Sean, like I watched some of the Sean Connery Bonds, but I grew up with James Bond as being Pierce Brosnan.
Okay.
You know, GoldenEye and stuff like that. Like, I think GoldenEye was a great movie, but all the other movies he did after GoldenEye sucked.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't have one. I don't think I've actually sat down and watched a 007 movie.
I was about to say, you was never really big on the 007 franchise.
I didn't play the game either. Like, I just wasn't really interested. I did, however, play. So Banjo-Tooie for the N64 basically had GoldenEye,
Yeah.
but it was with those characters. So I just played that. And people were like, "You don't like GoldenEye?" And I'm like, "I love the reskin they did for Banjo-Tooie."
You've never been big on the first-person shooters, so I get it. I get it.
I mean, even back then, though, I loved Doom. That's about as much first person as I'm ever going to get.
Dude, I'll tell you right now, as a little kid who couldn't read, I erased the GoldenEye file that was like 98% complete.
Ooh.
So you're talking about we got to the temple map. We was getting the golden gun, some of the hardest stuff to get. I'm dumb. I can't read. I hit the erase button and I erased that file. My brothers, to this day, 25 years later, they will not let that go.
Yeah, I get it.
But yeah, nines all around for this.
Right on. Yeah, I'm thoroughly impressed. Joel, how did this get made?
Yeah,
How did we get to Duck Dodgers?
so
For
Andrew,
those of you who don't know, it's based off of Buck Rogers. That's the only reason back in 1953,
yeah,
that short. And then we went from there.
yeah. So like I already said, the series we're talking about today aired in 2003. it was the brainchild of Spike Brandt and Tony Schiavone. Now, this is ultimately based off of the 1953 Looney Tunes short titled Duck Dodgers in the 24th and a half century.
Yeah.
Which apparently these guys were a huge fan of. Because the story goes that it took them 6 years of pitching this idea to make a full-fledged series based off of Duck Dodgers until WB finally said, yep,
It's
we
so
will do
funny to think about it because this is so removed from anything.
Dude,
It's like, it's a Looney Tunes short that's a parody, and then they're like, we want to expand on the parody that they made of a franchise that kids would have no recollection of. It's just like how Bugs Bunny, his entire act is based on some comedian that nobody fucking remembers.
No.
And the reason that Bugs Bunny eats a carrot is not because he's a rabbit. It's because that comedian loved fucking carrots. And he says, "What's up, Doc?" because of that comedian.
Yep. That's all Looney Tunes has been. It's just like pop culture jokes, basically. But what blew my mind is, because we've been talking a lot about WB and their like resurgence of their characters, right?
Right.
You know, the past 2 cartoons we talked about was just WB was just like, hey, we got to make a new show. We got to re-energize these characters. This is not the case. This is literally a passion project by 2 people, because I actually read in an interview that they did with Toonzone back when this show was releasing.
Okay.
And Toonzone actually, was talking about the creation of this, and they actually mentioned how they was working at WB, these 2 creators, and they had actually worked on a project with Tom Ruger. And this project was supposed to be a Daffy Duck focused character, but it was supposed to be a parody of their Larry Sanders Show meets Jack Benny.
Who's Larry Sanders?
Dude, thank you for asking that, because I had to look it up. The Larry Sanders Show was a show on HBO that was kind of like
I know this guy.
about like talk shows.
Yeah.
But it was supposed to be like all the behind the scenes stuff that is going on with the talk show. So
Yeah.
so
This stars Gary Shandling.
yeah, so imagine like a office type show that was based off of like the Jimmy Fallon show, where you see everything going on behind the scenes. When I read that, I actually thought that might actually have been a pretty good show with Daffy Duck.
That's not a bad concept in of itself.
Yeah.
They could still make that today and it would be pretty good.
I think they could. Unfortunately for that time, that series that they was working on did not go to completion at all. Apparently there was development hell going on with that series. And Spike and Tony just kind of pitched this idea at the exact right time, and WB bought it at this point.
Nice.
And I am so thankful for WB taking a chance on this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For once, you can be thankful for something WB did.
right? Yeah, because you gotta. I think a lot about how WB early '90s leading up into like the late '90s, dude. They was knocking it out with all of their animation.
Absolutely.
But-
Absolutely.
But the moment Pokemon came in to the US, WB lost it.
Yeah, they had nothing.
Nothing. I like to think that this was them still trying to find the next best thing. Hate the fact that it, never blew up in too much popularity, but it was successful enough to run for 3 seasons, a total of 9.
I was about to say that's pretty successful.
Especially for the early 2000s. This was a show that did pretty well for itself.
Yeah, I
Yep.
agree. Yeah, it did really well.
So that's it, Andrew. Not too much more to it. So hit us with the voice actors.
If you hear any weird audio on my end, listeners, it's because I'm trying to prevent my dogs from barking to A, not ruin the audio, and B, wake up my very sleeping son.
Yeah.
So, so I apologize if you hear any dog pants. But the voice cast for Duck Dodgers. Joe Alasky is Duck Dodgers, Martian Commander, X2, Armada Annihilator, Bartender, Beaky Buzzard, Birdie, Diplomat, Dodgers, Weird Fantasy Dad, Dr. Woe, Drake, Dark Star, and more. We have Bo Bergen as the eager young space cadet, trainee, diplomat, football player, Keith the guard student, monkey cadet. Richard McGonigal is Dr. IQ High, Judge Roboticus, Mr. I am. We have Michael Dorn is Martian Centurion Robots. Taya Carey is Queen Thahani, the Martian Queen. And Gray Griffin is computer, newswoman, shy falling, beautiful reporter. Their other works is Joe Alasky is Bob and Oogie and the Cockroaches.
Ugh.
Yeah. Bob Bergen is Small Hydrobot in Spidey and His Amazing Friends. He's also Porky Pig in like a lot of stuff. Richard McGonigal is the narrator in 500 Days of Summer.
Okay.
Michael Dorn is Worf in Star Trek First Contact and Star Trek The Next Generation. He's Worf. He's Lieutenant Worf.
Yeah.
Taya Carey is Cassandra in Wayne's World.
Wayne's World.
And Greg Griffin is Selena Kyle in Batman Arkham, the Arkham series.
Okay.
So here's the thing that I really enjoyed
Okay.
about Duck Dodgers, now that we can talk about the show. They take existing Looney Tunes characters and turn them into like 50s style aliens. Like Yosemite Sam, he is a Klingon race. He is called Katuthasam, in a parody of the Klingons. One of the best ones is there's a hive mind
Okay.
based off of the Flood and the Borg. It is the Thud.
I love it.
Wile E. Coyote is like a predator.
Okay.
Alien Hunter, there's Taz. He also shows up as like an alien. They have Witch Hazel, Michigan J Frog. All these people who show up, and they're all like, just different, like space versions of their Looney Tunes selves, and they designed them to be available in space. And I just kind of appreciate that level of world building.
It's
Also, Doug
It's perfect.
Dodgers is a dick.
oh yeah. You know,
He's like Daffy Duck cranked up to like 20. He is actively selfish, will put himself and others in danger to have any kind of a spotlight. Although I would have to say the worst thing he ever did was sell the young space cadet's sister to the bacon factory. That is it's an episode where there's a master criminal who looks exactly like Duck Dodgers, and he's trying to like, it's the whole shoot him, no shoot him, and
Yeah.
he's trying to convince like the young space cadet that he's Duck Dodgers, and he's reminding the young space cadet of all the horrible things that he's done to him. So of course he has to be the real Duck Dodgers.
yeah. I love it. I love it so much. But
I feel like the Martian Queen awoken a lot of people in a weird way.
I knew we was going to talk about this.
You damn right we are. Anytime we have a sexy animated character, you got to talk about it. Okay?
Yes,
She's in there. They put her in a leather bodysuit. They knew what they were doing.
it had to awaken many of young boys and maybe even women at this time. Yeah, because was there any need to really?
She's also a romantic interest in Duck Dodgers, like for Duck
Exactly.
Dodgers. Duck Dodgers, he does well.
Hey, look.
There is
sometimes I wish I was Duck Dodgers back in these days. Give me that Martian Queen. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, it makes you wonder why they don't design a lot of female Looney Tunes characters outside of just old women, because it's like it's Witch Hazel and Granny. Those are the two female Looney Tunes characters you can think of, and then like you got Lola Bunny, and it took them years to correct like their super sexy mistake in Space Jam where they were just like, we might have gone a little overboard.
Shit, guys, did we just make a bunch of furries? Is this what
really,
just
'cause
happened?
it's like you got to say what you want, but Disney did pretty well. They're like, this is Donald but in a dress, and we call her Daisy.
yeah.
And it's just like whenever the WB was like, this is our female character, you better tape your dick to the side of your pants when you see her, because we made her hot as fuck, dude.
I'm gonna blame Jessica Rabbit in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, but it's not her fault, because she wasn't designed by the WB, and the WB in Looney Tunes has always consistently done that with their female characters.
You right.
And Bugs Bunny in drag a few times.
Hey, sex sells, right? Who cares if we make a couple of furries along the way? We're making money, man.
That's true. And the IT department is always hiring if you are a furry. So it's always important to keep that industry alive. More now than ever.
Yes.
Because if you don't remember, the internet got shut down across the earth recently.
Fun times. Why couldn't it have affected my work? Who knows?
Oh, it affected mine.
Sadly, I didn't miss a beat on my job. So
So a couple of other new characters that get introduced. IQ High has a lot more lines than he did in the original, which he's basically Duck Dodgers' boss.
okay.
The Centurion robots, which
Ooh.
Marvin the Martian uses those are his henchmen. They are pretty hilarious. They seem to be more of independent thought. They're like sassy. I wouldn't say sassy. I don't know how to really describe them, but they're kind of like, the droids from Star Wars.
They really
They don't look like they look more like the flippy ones.
They
the
really
ones that
had
like
to,
make the shields.
kind of flesh out Marvin the Martian in this show too.
Yeah, he's kind of a loner. He's antisocial. He doesn't have a lot of friends. There's one episode that got me laughing. So they think they're stranded on a deserted island.
Okay.
And they're about to die. And Marvin the Martian goes, despite everything, you are one of my closest friends. And Duck Dodgers just laughs at him. He goes, that's so pathetic. I have hundreds of friends.
No. No.
Just like, the best one of like Duck Dodgers being like the first number one is always selling the young cadets.
Yep.
Sister to the Bacon Factory. A solid number two. One of my favorite episodes, because I'm a big Green Lantern fan.
Oh, yeah.
He gets the Green Lantern. He becomes the Green Lantern, and Sinestro is just like, join me, and we can rule the universe side by side.
Okay.
And Doug Dodgers goes, okay. And Sinestro goes, you fool. Wait, did you just say okay? He goes, yeah, that sounds like a pretty great deal. He goes, I had this whole speech to try to convince you. And he goes, well, if you want, it's like, you can sell it to me if you want to.
Yeah, give me the pitch. That's such a daffy move, though.
Oh, yeah. It's just like he's so undeniably full of himself. And like he just abuses the young space cadet any chance that he gets. Everyone and anyone is just in his, like, Daffy has a goal, or Duck Dodgers has a goal, and he will step over anyone to get it.
Yeah.
Every time.
He's
so hilariously like he's not even evil. He's just a bad, selfish duck.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it so funny, that like he just does not care. Like his ego will not let him think that what he's doing is terrible and annoying or rude. He's just like, no, people want me to do this to them. That's why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
But I believe it's time for your new reoccurring segment, reviews that are 24.5 stars and reviews that belong in another century.
Ooh. Hey, I'll give it to you. That's a good one.
Okay.
This week. I like it.
Hey.
I like it. So this is sitting at a 7.7 out of 10 with 7,900 rating. Okay?
All right.
Not the lowest review I could find was a 5 out of 10. I'm not going to review that one. It's too lengthy, Andrew. But really, this thing has a lot of love. A lot of people love this.
A lot of people love it. That's why I was so surprised it's not on Max.
Yeah. So this is a 10 out of 10 titled Duck Dodgers is the best Looney Tunes cartoon show ever. I love this show. It's one of my personal favorite Looney Tunes shows. It has such great humor, beautiful writing, and most of all, action. I wish it was still on TV. I love this show so much. So that is a 10 out of 10, Andrew. Not much, because all the other ones, multi-paragraph reviews.
There's a lot of love for this show, and rightfully so.
It is. It's a fantastic show. From the theme song to the actual show itself, it is fantastic.
You can find a lot of the episodes on YouTube if you don't want to spring for the Boomerang package.
Exactly.
Because that's where it is.
Yeah, who's going to pay Cartoon Network for their one service of Boomerang that you'll get maybe one or two shows you actually care about and the rest you don't care.
I mean, we would actually benefit from having that subscription, and we still won't pay for it. So that should prove it right then and there.
Yeah.
Unless we actually legitimately make Cartoon Dumpster Dive a real business LLC, could be a tax write-off.
Hey.
We would get fucking audited so fast.
IRS would be like, so explain this Boomerang
what are
subscription.
you two doing again?
To us.
Hey, man.
Hey, don't worry about me.
Don't worry about it, Fed. Why don't you fucking move on?
I ain't gotta show you my ID.
But Joel, closing thoughts.
Fantastic show. Watch it. Don't pay for Boomerang to watch it. Just go watch the few episodes you can. But
you know where to go.
Yeah, you know where to go. It's a great show. You
absolutely watch it. Especially check out the Green Lantern episode. But if you're like, there's just so much thought and world building and design that went into this show. And I feel like 3 seasons is a respectable amount too.
Yeah.
Like, you probably could have gotten 2 more, but 3 seasons is great for what this is. And it's just a truly impressive feat to have done this with just basically like
8 minutes short.
The Buck Rogers parody that WB did back in the day. They made this out of it. That's phenomenally impressive.
You can tell that this was Tony and Spike. They just loved it. They loved the possibilities with it, and it really shows in this show.
And their knowledge of sci-fi to be able to parody other things, like who I would have never thought of the FUD if I was designing this show.
Exactly.
Yeah, shit like that. That's extremely talented.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I hopefully it'll come off a Boomerang, or Boomerang will just get absorbed into Max, which it should be already. That's ridiculous that it's not.
Makes no sense.
But that is Duck Dodgers, and kind of puts the cap on our WB animated series. I know the Looney Tunes show is kind of sort of in this category, but I really wanted to keep it to like those 3.
Yeah.
Mainly because I want to, maybe we'll do something else for August. Oh yeah, we were forced on Patreon to cover My Little Pony. So
that's
get
right.
ready for that next week.
Or not.
And if you and if you would like the ultimate request option, you can support us at patreon.com/cartoondd. There we have the $5 tier. It gets you stickers and pins sent to your door, bonus episodes with extended audio, and access to our Discord with the fancy little request feature. If you don't want to pay and request the normal way, you can go to our website at cartoondumpsterdive.com. There we have the request option and a store if you want to buy yourself a shirt. We have an X handle, CartoonDD. We are Cartoon Dumpster Dive on all other social medias. And as always, we thank you for a 5-star review on the podcasting platform of your choice, so we don't have to charge you for a Boomerang subscription just to listen to us. Have a great rest of your week.
See ya.
Oh, get fucked, Boomerang.
That's a great
bitch.
one. Hell yeah.
This has been a Lugho podcast.